Today's lesson is on healthy eating. Today's lesson is on healthy eating. So, what are calories? Calories are the measurement of how much energy we get from carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. These are the three main macronutrients that are found in our foods, and they're vital for us to consume on a daily basis. Now, when counting calories, understand that the measure of the amount of energy that food will produce as it passes through the body is as such. For every 1 gram of carbohydrates or carbs you take in, they are equivalent to 4 calories. That goes the same for 1 gram of protein. It too has 4 calories. But fats, on the other hand, for the same mass of fat as you have with proteins and carbohydrates, you actually pack a denser amount of energy in fat. So for every 1 gram of fat that you consume, there are 9 calories. So if you were to consume a food with 10 grams of fat, you would be taking in 90 calories. So 10 grams would be equal to 90 calories if you're looking at fats. But now, one thing that I want to kind of break the misconception right here, right now, is if I eat foods with fat, I will get fat. That is wrong. Okay, that is wrong. Fats, proteins, carbohydrates, all three of these macromolecules are vital in your everyday diet. So in your everyday diet, you want to make sure that you bring in these nutrients with healthy food choices. Okay, so what makes this bad? It's bad if you're eating it in the form of chips, if you're eating it in the form of donuts, if you're eating it in the form of ice cream. That's where these fats are bad. Okay, so let's get that clear. Let's clear the air with the misconception about fats. So when eating, try to make healthy choices. So we talked about potato chips, right? Contains fats. Instead of potato chips or taco chips, start thinking about options like pretzels or even baked crackers. And hey, why not just doing some popcorn? Right? So get some popcorn kernels, get an air popper, and pop your own. If you want just to add a little bit of flavoring, use small amounts of maybe butter or margarine, lightly salted if you'd like. Use some raw vegetables if you like that crunchiness, and try to use some low-fat dips. But try to limit the in terms of the dips. Look to see that it doesn't have a huge collection of ingredients. The fewest ingredients, the better it is, because you're not kind of throwing all these preservatives into them. Instead of drinking pop or fruit drinks or slushies, drink water. Water's great for you. It's great to hydrate, but if you do need to, if you want, look into maybe getting soda water, right? Or get one of those soda stream machines and make your own soda water at home. Minimum, if you want, have some chocolate milk, but limit your consumption of chocolate milk, as it does contain a lot of sugars. Milk as a teen, as a child, not so bad for you. It's actually pretty good for you. Try to avoid fruit juices, but if you're going to go with fruit juices, make sure that they are pure fruit. Okay, use pure fruit. Avoid French fries. Instead of French fries, hey, stick to maybe a side salad, but avoid all that heavy dressing. Okay, always ask for dressings on the side. Instead of a large hamburger, try to get maybe just a kid-sized hamburger or a chicken burger or even a turkey burger if they offer it. And again, ask for stuff on the side if possible. Try to avoid sugary cereals. Look for cereals that contain whole grains, okay, whole grains that have the least amount of sugar. So go to the back or on the side of the packaging and read for that sugar intake. Okay, breaded or fried chicken burgers, try to avoid. Try to go with the roasted or oven baked. Okay, and again, same thing. Try to make any sauces if you can be put on the side. A loaded meat pizza, try to go with a thin crust or even a vegetarian option. Try to pick like a whole wheat crust and maybe go with very little cheese, not too much cheese and oils. Deli meat, submarine sandwiches, those sub sandwiches. If you're gonna go to like a Subway or a Quiznos, try to get the whole wheat option. Avoid any sausage type deli meats. Try to look for lean meats like some hams or roast beefs or chickens or even turkeys. For dressings, try to minimize your dressings. Maybe even using a mustard. Mustard typically is a 0-calorie condiment. Some have a few calories in them, but many mustards out there actually come as 0 calories. And try to avoid, right, a little bit of vinegar, just something if you want, just to kind of season something to give something a little bit of taste. The energy balance equation. So when talking about the energy balance equation, we are looking at what's referred to as the neutral energy balance. So neutral energy balance is when the intake of energy is equal to the energy expenditure. What is the energy expenditure? It's your physical activity that you do from day to day. Right, so you wake up in the morning. Let's say you walk to the kitchen, you walk out of the house, go to the bus stop, whatever. Anytime you're doing some kind of movement, that's your energy expenditure is going. Just breathing is going to be some energy expenditure. So if those two numbers match, your body weight generally does not change. Now, if your energy you have a negative energy balance, it means you're taking in fewer calories than you are burning off, and that will result in weight loss. But one thing that I want you to understand about this negative energy is to be careful. Okay, be careful. Understand that from day to day, you should be taking in anywhere from 1,800 to 2,200 calories in healthy foods. You really do not want to be dropping this number low. So what you want to do is maybe stay in this range and exercise. Staying in this range will keep you full throughout the day, especially if you decide to make sensible decisions on what you are going to eat. And if you eat foods that are going to keep you full, that's in the form of some good carbohydrates. Those will keep you full for longer periods of time. And then lastly, a positive energy balance is where you're taking in more food than you are exercising, and that will result in weight gains. And that's what happens with a lot of people who sit down a lot, who live sedentary lives. So they eat, and they don't exercise whatsoever, and that's where a lot of the weight gain will actually take place. So total daily caloric need, the amount of calories you need each day, is determined based on your gender, body size, genetics. Remember, sometimes we're predisposed to have maybe more meat on our skin. Maybe our bones are a little bit thicker. Maybe our muscle definition is going to be a little bit greater. So understand that we need to learn to accept, right? We need to accept, okay, our bodies and what the genetics has in fact given us. Our age, younger you are, the more calories you're going to need. And of course, the more active you are, the more calories you're going to take in. If you ever listen to The Rock, and Rock consumes tons of calories. He's a big boy, a lot of muscle. All that muscle requires a lot of food. So If you are someone looking to get that size, yeah, you're going to need to eat a lot and exercise a lot as well. Now, in terms of carbohydrates, your intake of carbohydrates, if you're between the ages of 1 to 18, should be about 50% of your diet. 19 and over, also around 50%, maybe the carbohydrates about 55% of your diet if you're under the age of 18. And notice here in terms of your fats, right, a lot higher than your proteins, your protein intake. Okay, so remember sensible eating. So daily caloric intakes, pretty much on average. We have here close to 2,000 calories, right? That was that range that we were talking about of 1,800 to 2,200. Remember, this is not really an exact science. Okay, this is not an exact science. So you want to vary it up. Yeah, 1,900 calories, 22, 2,100. Hey, you have a 25 or a 3,000 calorie day, big deal. Get out there, exercise a little bit, and try to stay within that range. You're going to have those days where you might go above the 2,200 calories. Don't feel guilty. We need those breaks from healthy eating. Have that donut on occasion. Have that little bit of chips or a chocolate. Everything in moderation. Remember, moderation is key. Moderation. Okay, moderation is key to living a healthy lifestyle, because if you eat healthy on the regular and you have these moments where you get to indulge a little bit, they will just help you keep going and staying motivated. Understanding vegetarian eating. So there are different types of vegetarianism. Okay, so we've got the semi-vegetarian, who typically will avoid red meat, but they will eat chicken, they'll eat fish, eggs, and some meat alternatives like tofu, legumes, nuts. You've got these lacto-ovo vegetarians, okay, and what they do is they avoid meat, fish, chicken, and shellfish, but they will consume milk and milk products, they will consume eggs and those meat alternatives, and of course they will be eating a lot of vegetables, fruits, and grain products. You have the ovo-vegetarians, which will take in the eggs and meat alternatives. They will avoid all meats, all fish, all chicken, and they will also, in fact, avoid milk products. Then we have our lacto-vegetarians, which will take in milk and milk products. Again, your meat alternatives and your vegetables, fruits, and grains. They will avoid meat, fish, chicken, shellfish, and eggs. Right, that ovo for eggs. And lastly, vegans. Their diet consists of only vegetables and fruits. They will eat grain products and will only eat meat alternatives like tofu, legumes, nuts, and these so-called meat alternatives like these so-called plant-based meats. So they avoid all milk. They avoid all fish, all meats, all chicken, all shellfish, all eggs. Okay, so that's what veganism is all about. Going green. Vegetarian diets may reduce the risk of obesity and being overweight, heart disease, and some types of cancer. The only thing you need to be aware of about the idea of going green is you need to do your homework. You need to plan your meal intakes very readily, because a poorly planned green diet, vegetarian diet, or even vegan diet can lead to nutritional deficiencies like shortages in iron, calcium, and zinc that can be found in your meats, chicken, and milk products. Okay, so my advice is, if you are planning to do one of these extreme type diets, I do consider them kind of somewhat extreme, visit your local dietitian. So go see somebody who knows their stuff and talk to them, and they will kind of I'll give you an outline of foods that you should start planning. So the fats of life we are going to look at as follows. So we've got polyunsaturated fats. They help lower our LDLs, and they are liquid at room temperature. So they're found in corn, soybeans, sunflower, safflower, sesame oil, and soft margarines. Your monosaturated fats, okay, found in canola oil, peanut oil, soft margarines contain these oils, seeds, nuts. Saturated fats are typically found in meats, in chicken, in butter, in cheese, in hard margarines. And lastly, the fat that you definitely want to be trying to avoid. They actually will raise your LDL levels. And they are found in baked goods, cookies, crackers, chips, some margarines, and hydrogenated oils. So, buyer beware. Research the products before you buy. Understand here, there is no such thing as a miracle product or latest breakthrough or clinically proven. Don't buy into these labels, okay? Because they're just they're kind of like clickbait, okay? So be aware of anything, especially if you're on Instagram or on Snapchat and you see any of these advertisements. There really isn't such thing. If they really were, they'd be they'd be all over the news. Tell your doctor and pharmacist exactly what you plan to take before you ever take it. If you are planning to do an extreme diet, talk to your parents. And go and kind of go with this notion about talking to your doctor about what you are thinking about doing. Speak to a dietitian about the diet that you're thinking about doing. Don't take more than the recommended dose. Okay, avoid these so-called fat burners. There's no such thing as fat burners. You want a fat burner, it's called exercise. There's your fat burner. Talk to your coach or even a team doctor if you're playing competitive sports and are thinking about using some kind of dietary supplements. And also always avoid any side effects to your doctor and parents immediately if you are doing stuff. Other things to avoid, especially as teens, avoid energy drinks. Okay, they are meant to provide a mental and physical stimulation for a short period of time, but understand that sometimes we can abuse it. People can abuse it. They contain some really bad chemicals that you don't want to be taking in or might be taking in too much of it. Understand also, it's very dangerous if you're mixing it with alcohol and when using during intense activity. Because let's face it, these caffeines will increase your heartbeat. Okay, they're going to increase your heartbeat. So imagine you're taking in a substance to increase your heartbeat, and then you are exerting some physical activity. You could be putting your heart to a heartbeat that is just too much for your body to be able to handle. Energy drinks, buyer beware. Health Canada advises caution and to be aware of the following. Do not drink excessive amounts of caffeine drinks or these energy drinks. Do not mix with alcohol. Drink enough water to stay hydrated. And the safety of such drinks may not have been evaluated by Health Canada. So understand that there are risks to taking in these energy drinks. So my advice to you is stay away from energy drinks. Okay, and if you do sneak one in, make sure report any adverse reactions and stay away. Try to avoid taking in this stuff and making things worse for you.
I hope you liked this video. If you did, do not be shy to hit that thumbs up button. And while you're clicking the thumbs up, click on that subscribe to stay tuned to my new videos. Thanks for watching.